Hello all, welcome to the class of Complex Analysis, Probability and Statistical Methods 18 MAT 41. Today I'll be teaching a topic in Module 3, Probability Distributions. And the topic name that I am going to discuss is about discrete probability distributions. Myself, Dr. Madhura, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology, Bengaluru. First, let us know the definition for random variables. In a random experiment, if a real variable is associated with every outcome, then it is called a random variable, alternately stochastic variable. That is, a random variable is a function that assigns a real number to every sample point in the sample space of a random experiment. So it is a function that assigns a real number to every sample point in the sample space of a random experiment. The set of all real numbers of a random variable x is called the range of x. So if at all we want to know the range of the random variable x, it gives us the set of all real numbers associated with the random variable x. Say for example, suppose a coin is tossed twice. The association of the random variables x and y are defined as x is equal to number of heads in the outcome, and suppose y is equal to number of tails in the outcome. Then the sample space S is given by HH, HT, TH, TT. We are throwing the coin twice, or the coin is tossed twice. So whenever we toss a coin twice, the outcomes we are looking forward. So a coin has two faces, head or tail. And first time, suppose it takes head. Second toss also it takes head. So that gives us the sample or sample element HH. Similarly, first time we can expect a head, and the second time thrown we can expect a tail, or tail head or tail tail. So these are the total possible outcomes in this experiment. The experiment is tossing a coin twice. And now we associate the random variables x and y with the sample space. And that is being seen here. The association of the elements in the sample space S to x comma y is as follows. So the outcomes are HH, HT, TH and TT. So random variable x is number of heads in the outcome. So there are two heads in the first outcome. That is why the number associated with this is 2. HT, number of heads in this is 1. Number of heads in the third outcome TH is also 1. Number of heads in the last outcome is 0. There is no head outcome here. Both are occurring as tails. Similarly, the random variable y is defined as number of tails in the outcome. So the first outcome HH shows that there is no tail outcome. So that is why 0. HT, T stands for tail. So 1 outcome. TH, so that is again y. Random variable y is associated with the real number 1. TT, there are two tails occurring. So 2. So based on the random variables x and y, however, the way it is defined, we are able to associate the real value associated with each of the sample space. And thus, the range of x is 0, 1, 2, and range of y is also 0, 1, 2. The numbers associated with x are the real numbers associated with the outcome x, with the random variable x are 0, 1, 2. That is why we are writing 0, 1, 2. And similarly, the real numbers associated with random variable y are also 0, 1, and 2. So we are writing down, keeping that in mind, we are writing down range of x and y. Now we will know the definition for discrete and continuous random variables. If a random variable takes finite or countably infinite number of values, then it is called discrete random variable. So a random variable x, suppose it takes finite or countably infinite number of values. Now countably infinite means a sequence of real numbers. A sequence of real numbers together put can be said as countably infinite. So if the random variable takes finite or countably infinite number of values, then it is said to be discrete random variable. Say for example, we toss a coin and observe the outcome. So it is countable, head or tail. Say for another example, we toss a die and observe the numbers on the face. So a die has the number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So we are able to count. So it is a finite number. That is the reason it is said to be discrete random variable. If a random variable takes non-countable infinite number of values, not able to count, and it's an infinite number of values that is taking, then it is called non-discrete or continuous random variable. That is, if the range of a random variable x is an interval of real numbers, then x is said to be continuous random variable. Suppose we are writing down the range of the random variable x in the form of an interval, where the interval takes a set of real numbers. Then in such case, x is said to be continuous random variable. A continuous random variable can assume any value in the interval of real numbers. So suppose the interval is from 0 to 5. Then it can take any value between 0 to 5. It might be in terms of decimals as well. So that is how a continuous random variable can assume any value in the interval of real numbers. Say for example, height of an individual. So when we are not trying to know the height of an individual, it need not be only in terms of feet, it can be in terms of centimeter as well. So at each and every point it matters. Amount of rainfall on a rainy day, or if we observe the pointer on a speedometer or voltmeter. So all these comes in the form of an interval of real numbers, and hence these are all continuous random variables. Let us note this point. Generally, counting problems correspond to discrete random variables and measuring problems lead to continuous random variables. This might help us in future. Now let us understand the definition for discrete probability distributions. If for each value xi of a discrete random variable x, we assign a real number p of xi such that it satisfies the two conditions, p of xi is greater than or equal to 0 or summation p of xi is equal to 1, then the function p of x is called a probability function. So let us understand the definition for probability function. Suppose for every value of xi in a discrete random variable, we assign a real number p of xi, which says probability of every xi, such that it satisfies these two conditions. One is probability of every value of x should be positive, greater than or equal to 0, and probability of every value when we sum up should be equal to 1. Means probability of all the values of x, probability of x1, x2, x3, like that, when we sum up, it should be equal to 1. Means probability can at most be equal to 1. Then such a function p of x is called probability function. If the probability that x take the values xi is denoted by pi, then all these notations are one and the same. Probability is usually denoted by pi or p of xi, or probability of x taking the value xi. These are all different notations to say that we are finding probability of a real value xi. Now the set of values xi comma p of xi is called a discrete or finite probability distribution of X. So if at all we want to write down the discrete or finite probability distribution of X, then we are going to write down the set of all values of Xi and its probabilities together in the form of a table. So that gives us the discrete or the finite probability distribution of X. And the function P of X in such case is called the probability density function or probability mass function, PDF or PMF in simple. All the values of X associated with the given random variable X and then its probabilities together put in the form of a table gives us the discrete or finite probability distribution of X, and the function P of X in such case is called as probability density function or probability mass function. Now, the distribution function f of x defined by f of x is equal to probability of x less than or equal to random variable x less than or equal to every x, which is given by summation I is equal to 1 to x p of xi, where x is an integer, is called the cumulative distribution function CDF. So sometimes we would like to know the cumulative distribution function for the given set of values of x and the probabilities. In such case, using the formula f of x is equal to probability of x less than or equal to every value of x, wherein we apply summation 1 to x p of xi. This gives us to know the cumulative distribution function. Here, x is an integer. Now, the mean and variance of the discrete probability distribution are given by mean mu is equal to summation over I xi into p of xi, or this is simply summation x into p of x. Means from the probability distribution table, if we multiply x into p of x and sum up for all the values, doing the product, if we sum up for all the values of x into p, that gives us the mean mu for a discrete probability distribution. Similarly, variance V is obtained by the formula summation xi minus mu the whole square into p of xi, which is one and the same on simplification gives us summation xi square p of xi minus mu square. We sum up all the product xi square into p of xi and subtract this with mu square, which gives us the variance V. Hence, standard deviation can be obtained as square root of variance value. So these formulas about discrete probability distribution will now help us to do the problems on the same. Now we will see problems on discrete probability distributions. Problems on discrete probability distributions. First question. A coin is tossed. A coin is tossed twice. A random variable x. A random variable x represent the number of heads turning up, Find the discrete probability distribution for x. Find the discrete probability distribution for x. Also find its mean and variance. Also find its mean and variance. So from the theory, we have already learned what is the formula for mean and variance. But before finding it, we have to first find out the probability distribution table for X. So let us find out the discrete probability distribution for X. Given that X represents the random variable given by number of heads turning up and a coin is tossed twice. So since a coin is tossed twice, the sample space consists of HH, HT, TH, TT. So let us first write down the sample space for this. Sample space. We denote usually sample space by S. So S is given by HH, means in both the times that we are tossing the coin, both might arrive with a head turning up. Similarly, it might be HT. So head in the first time tossing of the coin, and second time it might be tail. TH, first time tail, and second time it might be head turning up. And lastly, it is TT. So both the times when we toss a coin, it might be a tail turning up. So this is the sample space. All possible outcomes should be written in the sample space. Now, the association of the elements of S, the association of the elements of the sample space S to the random variable, capital X are respectively. So in order to write down the range of X, we are trying to know the association of the elements of the S to the random variable X. How is the random variable X defined by? A random variable X is defined as the number of heads turning up. So in the first of the sample space, first element of the sample space that we have written, both are heads turning up. So the association of the element of S to the random variable X will be 2. Since it is both head turning up, it will be 2. And then second choice when we observe, it is HT. So only one head is turning up. So it is 1. Similarly, TH means only one head turning up. So 1. And last one, there is no head turning up. So 0. So the association is respectively 2, 1, 1, 0. Now, keeping this in mind, we can write down the range of X. So therefore, range of X is given by the elements. Range of X is defined as, the number of elements, the real number associated with the random variable X. So it is a set of all real numbers of a random variable X, which gives us the range of X. So range of X is 0, 1, 2. Those are the only possible numbers that are arising when we saw the association of the sample space to the random variable X. Now, we can write down probability of both the head turning up. Using the basic definition of probability, we can write down this. So probability definition says that number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. So when I want to know probability of both head turning up, it will be 1 divided by 4. So let me explain how it is 1 by 4. According to definition of a simple probability definition, it says that it is number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. So the favorable outcomes are 1 because I am just looking into one of the outcome HH, and the total possible outcomes can be grabbed always from the sample space. So we observe the sample space in the previous slide. It is HH, HT, TH and TT. HH, HT, TH and TT. So there are 4 possible outcomes in the sample space. So that is why 4 in the denominator. In the same manner, we can write down probability of getting HT. Again, I am interested in one possible outcome, favorable, and then the total possible outcomes is 4. Same manner, probability of TH. TH is another outcome that I am looking forward to for favorable outcome divided by possible outcomes. And the last one is also 1 by 4. Now, the sake of writing down the probability of each one of these sample space is to now write down probability of x is equal to 0. And the meaning of x is equal to 0 is there's no head turning up. X is the sample space denoted by number of heads turning up. So when I take x is equal to 0, for every range of x, we have to look into what is the probability of getting it. So for x is equal to 0, we see that the option is no head is turning up. So no head turning up means it is probability of TT. Probability of TT, which is 1 by 4, which we have already written. Similarly, we have to now find out probability of getting one head. So this gives us probability of HT union probability of TH. Because we see that it is probability of head turning up once. So head is turning up once in both these possibilities, HT as well as TH. So it is the union of both these. And according to addition theorem of probability, we know that this can be written as probability of HT plus probability of TH. And this gives us 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4. And that in turn is equal to 1 by 2. And lastly, now we will write down probability of x is equal to 2. So x is the random variable which is defined as number of heads turning up. So 2 heads turning up. We have to look forward for 2 heads turning up. So this is equal to probability of HH. And probability of HH is 1 by 4. 1 by 4. Now for every range of x, for every real value associated with a range of x, that is 0, 1, 2, we have now found out probability of getting those numbers. X is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, and x is equal to 2. The same thing if we tabulate, that gives us the discrete probability distribution for x. Thus, the discrete probability distribution for x is as follows. We will tabulate and write it down in this way. So probably x is nothing but xi. Notations are different, that's all. And probability of getting each of these xi we are going to write down. So x is nothing but the range of x, whatever the x values that it is taking. It is nothing but 0, 1, and 2. These are the different possible values of x that we already saw. And probability of getting each of these xi is, when we already checked what is probability of x is equal to 0, it is 1 by 4. Probability of x is equal to 1 is 1 by 2. And probability of x is equal to 2 is 1 by 4. So same thing we are going to substitute here. So it is 1 by 4, 1 by 2, and then 1 by 4. So we observe that it is satisfying the basic definition for a probability density function. So we observe, or it is clear that probability of every xi, probability of every value of xi is positive. This is one of the conditions to say it is a probability density function. So every probability value, 1 by 4, 1 by 2, and 1 by 4, all are positive values. And we also observe that the second condition is getting satisfied. That is, sum of all the probabilities is equal to 1. When we add up 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, the sum is equal to 1. So probability can at most be equal to 1. So that is also getting satisfied. So this was first part of the problem. The first part of the problem was to find the probability, discrete probability distribution for x. And this table gives us the discrete probability distribution for x. Now we have to find out mean and variance. So let us find mean and variance. So formula for mean mu is given by summation over I xi into p of xi. We have to multiply the terms. We need to obtain the product xi into its probability. So xi is taking 0, 1, 2. When we multiply 0 with its probability, that is 1 by 4, plus, we have to sum it up, summation. So 1 into 1 by 2 plus 2 into 1 by 4. So every x value is multiplied with its probability and it is summed up. So what I mean to say, 0 into 1 by 4 plus 1 into 1 by 2 plus 2 into 1 by 4. So gives us the mean. So mean mu, can use a calculator and get the answer to this. So mean mu for this case is 1. Similarly, we can obtain the variance. Variance V is given by summation xi square into p of xi minus mu square. The alternate formula that we have obtained in the derivation, I'm using it. So the formula for variance V is summation xi square p of xi minus mu square. This we have already discussed in the theory. So every xi value should be squared. Every xi value should be squared and multiplied with its probability and added up. So first we are actually performing this. This bracket over here maybe is very much understandable. So we have to first obtain this product and then minus of mu square has to be performed. So let us do the product. So sum of product terms xi square into p of xi has to be performed. So 0 square into 1 by 4. So 0 is multiplied with 1 by 4, which is 0 itself, plus second term, it is 1 square into 1 by 2, plus last term, it is 2 square. 2 square into 1 by 4. Every xi square is multiplied with p of xi minus mu square. Here the mu value is 1. So using a calculator and simplifying this leads to variance value equal to 1 by 2. Variance V equal to 1 by 2. So this was the first problem which I discussed. This was related to a simple one, how to frame a discrete probability distribution table for X and to find the mean and variance. We'll see a second problem. Find the value of K such that the following distribution represents the following distribution represents a finite probability distribution. Represents a finite probability distribution. Finite means discrete. Hence, find its mean and standard deviation standard deviation, which is square root of the variance. Also find first one, probability of x less than or equal to 1. Second one, probability of x greater than 1. And third one, probability of x lying between -1 less than x less than or equal to 2. So a table is given for us. So let us first frame a table. So x and p of x values are given. X values as well as probability of xi. Probability of every value of x is given in the table for us. So x values are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and the respective values of its probabilities are k, 2k, 3k, 4k, 3k, 2k, and k. So these are the values of x and the p of x in terms of k for us. So observe the question. It is given that we need to find the value of k such that it is satisfying the probability distribution, finite probability distribution. So the two conditions in order to say it is a finite probability distribution is, firstly, every p of x value should be a positive value, and the second one, sum of all p of x values should be equal to 1. So we'll be using the second of the condition to check whether k, whatever the value of k that we obtain, is a positive value, which automatically satisfies the first condition for us. So after finding the value of k, we are supposed to find out the remaining things in the question, that is mean, standard deviation, probability of x less than or equal to 1, probability of x greater than 1, and x lying between -1 to 2. So let's find out one by one. Solution. The probability distribution is valid. The probability distribution is valid if p of x is greater than 0 and summation p of x, sum of all p of x values, should be equal to 1. So these are the two basic conditions to say it is a probability distribution. So the first condition is satisfied. The first condition is satisfied if k is greater than or equal to 0. K is greater than 0. So k must be a positive value in order to say that the first of the condition, p of x, is positive. So each one of the p of x values are associated in terms of k. So we can say that the first condition to say probability distribution gets automatically satisfied if k value is positive. So in order to now find the value of k, we use the second condition. And it is summation p of x is equal to 1. We use this, or we consider this, and we try to find out the value of k. So let us use it now. Consider summation p of x is equal to 1. Let us sum up all the values of p of x. So p of x is given by, first value is k, 2k, 3k, 4k, 3k, and then again 2k, k. This should be equal to 1. When we sum up the LHS, it is equal to 16k equal to 1, or k value is equal to 1 divided by 16, which was the first part of the problem for us. So it was the first part of the problem for us. we observe that we had to find out k first, given that the following table represents the finite probability distribution table. So that is why we impose the condition of finite probability distribution, summation p of x is equal to 1. We use this condition to obtain the value of k. And now we observe that k is automatically positive value. K is a positive value. The first of the condition is also satisfied in turn. Now with this value of k, we need to rewrite the table. With this value of k, we are going to rewrite the table, which will help us to find out the remaining things, mean, standard deviation, and probabilities of different values of x lying. All that can be easily found out if we rewrite the table with the given value, with the known value of k now. So just now we obtained k equal to 1 by 16 now. So with that, we will rewrite the table. Thus, the discrete probability distribution, the discrete probability distribution is as follows. So I've just prepared a small table wherein I can put the x values and the p of x values. K equal to 1 by 16. So x values were -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And the respective values with k equal to 1 by 16. The respective values of probability was k will be 1 by 16. This is 2 by 16, 3 by 16, etc. Of course, we can write it down in the simplest fraction or we can retain it as it is. So I would like to retain it as it is and write it down. So this becomes 1 by 16, 2 by 16, 3 by 16, 4 by 16. Again, it is 3 by 16, 2 by 16, and lastly 1 by 16. So we observe that it is very much clear from the table that every p of x is positive and sum of all p of x values is automatically equal to 1. So this is obvious looking at the table. You can sum up all the values of p of x and check whether it is equal to 1. It will be there because we started with that condition only and found out the respective value of k. And this is true for every x. True for every x. Now we will find out the remaining things. That is, we have to find out mean, variance, and we were asked to find out probability of particular values of x lying. So we will find one by one now. Firstly, mean mu. Mean mu is equal to summation x into p of x. Xi into p of xi over the summation I or x into p of x, all are one and the same. So we observe that I have 1 by 16 common. In each one of the product, I can write down this 1 by 16 common outside. Looking at the table here. So 1 by 16 into product I am doing now, -3 into 1, -2 into 2, -1 into numerator 3, 0 into 4. Like that we are performing for each term. So we have -16 multiplied by -3, -4, -3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3. And the sum is equal to 0. Similarly, we can find out variance, which is given by summation xi square p of xi minus mu square. If you feel the alternate formula is comfortable, you can as well use the alternate formula. So I'll be applying this formula. Every xi square is multiplied with its probability and minus the mu square term has to be performed. So again, I can write down that 1 by 16 common outside and write down xi square into p of xi. So it can be 9 plus 8 plus 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 8 plus 9 minus mu square. Mu square is 0. So this gives us 40 divided by 16, which is same as writing 5 by 2. To the simplest fraction, this goes to 5 by 2. And hence standard deviation can be written as square root of the variance value, which is square root of 5 by 2. Square root of 5 by 2. Yes. Let me tell you how it is xi square into p of xi performed. So when I'm performing this square terms into p of xi, 1 by 16 is again a common for every term in the product. So I'm just performing xi square, x square term into p of xi's numerator. So xi square means it is minus 3 the whole square, 9 into 1. So that's how the first term is 1, 9 into 1, so 9. Minus 2 the whole square, 4 into 2, 8. 4 into 2, 8. And similarly for the rest of the terms, minus 1 the whole square is 1, 1 into the numerator is 3 in p of xi. So that is how every xi square is multiplied with p of xi, and the product is being summed up to get 40 by 16 minus mu square. Mu is 0, so it remains to be 5 by 2. We were asked to find out standard deviation, no? So it was mean and the standard deviation. That's why we wrote the value of standard deviation, which is square root of the variance. Square root of variance. So square root of 5 by 2. Now we will have to find out these three different things that have been asked to us. Probability of x less than or equal to 1, probability of x greater than 1, and x lying between minus 1 to 2. Let's find them out one by one. So the first one that has been asked is probability of x less than or equal to 1. So when I say probability of x less than or equal to 1, it is probability of minus 3, probability of x equal to minus 2, probability of x is equal to minus 1, probability of 0, and probability of 1. It should be x less than or equal to 1. X less than or equal to 1. So here we have x less than 1, less than or equal to 1 means all these values of x has to be, its probabilities has to be summed up. So each one of them, we are going to sum it up now. So probability of minus 3 is 1 by 16. From the table, we can write it down. Plus probability of minus 2 is 2 by 16. Probability of minus 1 is 3 by 16. Probability of 0 is 4 by 16. And last one is 3 by 16 again. So the sum here is equal to 13 divided by 16. We had a common denominator, sum up of all the numerator will fetch you 13 by 16. Now the second one that we have to perform is probability of x greater than 1. When I say probability of x greater than 1, it is probability of x is equal to 2 and probability of x is equal to 3 only. They have mentioned x greater than 1. So if it is greater than or equal to, we will include 1 also. Since it is x greater than 1 only, probability of 2 and probability of 3 has to be taken. Probability of 2 is 2 by 16 plus probability of 3 is 1 by 16. So 2 by 16 plus 1 by 16 gives us the answer for this case. 3 by 16. Of course, we can leave the answers there only with the fractional. Now, the third part of the problem is to find probability of x lying between minus 1 to 2. Observe that minus 1 is not included. There is no equal to symbol here. So minus 1 is not included, but 2 is included. So after the value of minus 1, whatever we have, from there until 2, p of 0, p of 1, p of 2. I repeat, it is probability of x lying between -1 to 2. Though x is lying between -1 to 2, we have to consider only x equal to 2, but it is not equal to -1. So x is actually greater than -1. So from the table, x greater than -1 means 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3 are the overall values. But until 2, we have to consider. So less than or equal to 2, it has been mentioned. No, that's the reason we include probability of 0, probability of 1, and probability of 2. So this is P of 0, P of x is equal to 1, P of x is equal to 2. So this gives us 4 by 16 plus 3 by 16 plus 2 by 16 from the table. So it is total equal to 9 by 16, common denominator, so easy to sum up. So this was a different problem wherein we had to find K, mean variance. Given the probability distribution table for us, we had to find it out. And then probability of x less than or equal to 1, greater than 1, and x lying between a range. We'll see the third problem now. A random variable x, a random variable x has the following probability functions, has the following probability functions for various values of x. For various values of x. So x values and its respective probabilities are given for us, x, and then I'll write it down as P of x. X values are from 0 to 7. X values are given from 0 to 7 in steps of 1. And the respective values of P of x are 0, k, 2k, again 2k, 3k, k square, 2k square, and the last value is 7k square plus k. 7k square plus k. So these are the given set of x and p of x values. The following has to be found, find. First one, k value. Second one, probability of x less than 6. Probability of x greater than or equal to 6. And probability of x lying between 3 to 6, where it is less than or equal to 6 and greater than 3. And we are also asked to find out the probability distribution and the distribution function of x. Find the probability distribution and the distribution function of x. Distribution function of x. That's the third part of the problem. And the last part of the problem is to find out minimum value of x. Find the minimum value of x so that a condition is given for us. Probability of x less than or equal to x. It is capital X, random variable x, then or equal to each value of x should be greater than half. A condition is given to find out the value of x. So let us see how to do all these different categories of problems. Few things we are already aware from the last problem, what we did with. Few others we need to find out and know it. So first, to find out the value of k, it is given that given table is satisfying a probability function, PDF, probability density function, or probability distribution. So the two conditions of probability distribution it has to satisfy. One is P of x greater than 0. The other one is sum of all P of x should be equal to 1. Sum of all probabilities should be equal to 1. So using that, we will be able to find out the value of k, which is the first part of the question. Next, we have to find out probability of x less than 6, greater than or equal to 6, and x lying between a range, which is similar to the previous problem. So that also can be easily done. Now, the third part of the problem is to find the probability distribution. With the value of k, we have to rewrite the distribution table and the distribution function of x. So distribution function of x means cumulative distribution function of x. And last part of the problem is to find the minimum value of x with the given condition that a random variable, probability of the random variable x is less than or equal to small x is greater than half. So let's see the solution one by one with all the required conditions known to us. So very firstly, in order to say it is a probability density function, we must have two conditions getting satisfied. One is P of x should be positive, and the second one is sum of all probabilities should be equal to 1. Now, to find the value of k, let us begin with the first condition is satisfied. The first condition is satisfied if k is positive, and to find k, we consider the second condition and proceed. So summation P of x is equal to 1 we consider. So let us sum up all the values of P of x. It is 0, k, 2k, 3k, k square, 2k square, 7k square plus k. And this should be equal to 1. So we are taking all these values of P of x, we are summing it up, and we have to equate it to 1 to find the value of k. That is the one of the conditions to say it as a probability distribution, discrete probability distribution. So the left hand side sum is giving us 10k square plus 9k is equal to 1. Let us take 1 to the left hand side and solve the quadratic equation. So when we solve the quadratic equation, we get two values of k. Both the two values of k need not be satisfying the condition. So solving this, we get k is equal to -1 and k is equal to 1 by 10. But k equal to -1 is not a valid value for k because one of the conditions for k says that it should be positive. So k can be positive only when P of x can be positive only when k is positive. So very first condition for probability distribution, discrete probability distribution is P of x should be positive, greater than or equal to 0. Yes, of course, it can be equal to 0 when x is 0, P of x takes the value 0 automatically. So the basic condition gets satisfied only for k is equal to 1 by 10. So k equal to -1 is not a valid value. So with k equal to 1, k equal to -1, the first condition fails. So therefore, k has to be 1 by 10 only. Though it was a quadratic equation, after solving, only one of the k value is into the range. So with this value of k, we rewrite the discrete probability distribution table. The table was given in the question, no? The same table with this value of k. We will rewrite it. So k value is 1 by 10, or it can be considered as 0.1 also. Right? In decimal also we can do. So this problem, I work it out in decimal and show it to you. It need not be fraction itself. In decimals also we can work out the problem. So we will write down discrete probability distribution table now. Therefore, discrete probability distribution is as follows. Let's write down the table now. So we will rewrite the table with the value of k as 0.1. So first row is for x, and then its probabilities in each row. X values are 0 to 7 in steps of 1. And the respective values of p of x are in decimals I am writing down. So with k equal to 1, this is 0. With k equal to 0.1, this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.2, and then 0.3, 0.01 for x is equal to 5, and then 0.02, and the last value will be 0.17. So I have substituted k as 0.1, k value as 1 by 10 or 0.1 into the table. For every value into the table I have substituted. So k square becomes 0.01, 2k square becomes 0.02. Similarly, 7k square plus 7 can be performed, and it is equal to 0.17. The same thing I have substituted in the table. Now it is very clear that every value of p of x is positive. P of x is positive. It can be 0 as according to data this is given, and sum of all p of x values we observed is equal to 1 automatically. This was first part of the problem. Now let us find out the second part of the problem. After finding k, we have actually completed one more part of it. Probability distribution we have completed. After finding k, we have completed the probability distribution table. Now in the second part, probability of x less than 6, greater than or equal to 6, and greater than 6 and less than or equal to 6, greater than 3 and less than or equal to 6 can also be found out now. So second one, probability of x less than or equal to 6, less than 6 it is. Probability of x less than 6. So when I say x less than 6, it is until 5. P of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X should not be inclusive of 6 because it is just the symbol less than 6. It is P of 0, P of 1, P of 2, P of 3, P of 4, probability of x taking value 4, and then probability of x is equal to 5. So each one of them we will sum it up. So it is 0 plus 0.1, 0.2, 0.2, 0.3, and the last value is 0.01. So when we sum it up, the value here is equal to 0.81. 0.81. And in the same case, we have to find out probability of x greater than or equal to 6. So greater than or equal to 6 means P of 6 plus P of 7. This is 0.02 and then 0.17, which leads to the answer 0.19. 0.19. 19. Similarly, probability of x lying between 3 to 6 can be found out. Means x is greater than 3, less than or equal to 6. So probability of 3 less than x less than or equal to 6. This is the question for us, which is probability of x is equal to 4, 5 and 6 only. That is because x is greater than 3. So x greater than 3 means it is 4, 5, 6, 7. Less than or equal to 6 is the condition. So it is until only 6. So 4, 5, 6. Probability of 4, 5 and 6. Probability of 4, x is equal to 4 is 0.3. Probability of x is equal to 5 is 0.01. And then this is 0.02. So when we sum it up, the answer is 0.33. 0.33. So this was the second case for us. Now in the third case, we have to find out the cumulative distribution function. We have already written the probability distribution function. So in the third case of the problem, we have to find out probability distribution and the distribution function of x. Probability distribution we have already written with the value of k, the table. Now the distribution function of x means cumulative distribution function of x. We'll use the formula for cumulative distribution function and do it in the form of a table. So let's first write down the formula. The distribution function, or the cumulative distribution function is given by the formula for that is, we have discussed this already in the theory. So f of x is equal to probability of x less than or equal to small x, and that in turn is equal to summation over I p of xi, where I take the value from 1 to x. I take the value from 1 to x. And this is given by, let us write it down through the table itself directly, which will help us to do it quickly. Now applying this formula for distribution function or the cumulative distribution function, let us write down the table. In this table, we are going to write down x values and then f of x values. F of x is nothing but cumulative distribution functions. Okay. So f of x. X values from the given data is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That we are not changing anything. So f of x will, for the first value, it retains to be equal to 0 itself. Now, this we are writing down looking into the previous table, this probability distribution table easily. So p of x or f of x is 0 for the first value as it is. For the next set of values, we have to sum it up until xi is equal to 1 to x, sum up of all the probabilities, p of xi's we have to do. What I mean to say is, here when I want to know f of 1, cumulative distribution function for x is equal to 1, when I want to know, it is sum up of the previous two values of probabilities. So 0 plus 0.1. So here we are going to perform 0 plus 0.1, which is equal to 0.1 itself. So 0 is, for x is equal to 0, we have probability also equal to 0. For x is equal to 1, we have probability equal to 0.1. No? So both that we have to sum it up. And similarly, when it comes to the next column, that is for x is equal to 2, we have to sum up previous three probabilities. 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2. For x is equal to 2, we are summing up all the probabilities until x is equal to 2. That is what is the formula says. I is equal to 1 to that particular value of x. You have to sum up all the probabilities. So we are adding up 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2, which gives us 0.3. 0.3. And similarly, next column, when you sum it up, it is 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 plus previous value that just now we obtained is 0.3. And when we sum up all these, it is equal to, this is for x is equal to 3 we are doing now. For x is equal to 3, the probability value is 0.2. So here I should have written 0.2, not 0.3. So let me just erase this and write down 0.2 here. So 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 quickly is equal to 0.5. So previous value plus probability of 4. Like that we can also manage now. So previous value just now obtained is 0.5 plus probability of x is equal to 4 is 0.3. So 0.5 plus 0.3. Previous value 0.5 plus probability of x is equal to 4 is 0.3. So this is 0.8. Again, previous value is 0.8 plus probability of x is equal to 4 is one and the same as you are adding up all the probabilities lesser than or equal to 5. So it is 5 means 0.01. So 0.8 plus 0.01, which is equal to 0.81. Similarly, previous value is 0.81 now plus probability of x is equal to 6 is 0.02, which gives us 0.83. And again, previous value is 0.83 plus probability of x is equal to 7 from the previous table is 0.17. So we are adding up these two, which gives us 1. The last value always has to be 1 itself, because we know that probability can at most be equal to 1. So sum up of all these probabilities is now equal to 1. That is what we are showing it here. So this is how we find out the cumulative distribution function. Next, we have to find out the minimum value with the given condition for us. We have a condition given in the question, no? Condition says, find out the minimum value of x such that probability of x less than or equal to x is greater than half. Greater than half. So let us find this out. So the last part of the problem is to find minimum value of x, such that probability of x less than or equal to x is greater than half. Probability of capital X less than or equal to any value of x that we have to start with should be greater than half. So let us find this one by one. So we have first probability of x less than or equal to 1. So when I say x should be less than or equal to 1, it is probability of x is equal to 0 plus probability of x is equal to 1. So probability of x is equal to 0 is 0 and probability of x is equal to 1 is 0.1. 0.1. From the probability distribution table, we can find these values. So this gives us 0.1, which is less than half. I have to find such value of x, minimum value of x, which satisfies this condition. Should be greater than half, but 0.1 is nothing but a small value less than half. So we'll go ahead with next value of x. So probability of x less than or equal to 2 gives us p of 0 plus p of 1 plus p of 2. Less than or equal to 2 we are considering. So 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 from this probability distribution table, not the cumulative distribution table. From the probability distribution table, we are adding up the probabilities. 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 I took now because I am taking x less than or equal to 2. So this is 0.3. So again 0.3 is less than half. So we will move ahead with probability of x less than or equal to 3, which is p of 0, 1, 2, and then probability of 3. So this gives us 0, 0.1, 0.2, and again 0.2, which is exactly equal to 0.5, right? So equal to 0.5. Of course, I am not able to now compare with half. This is exactly equal to half only, but my condition is to satisfy greater than half. So greater than half means the next value might help us. So x less than or equal to 4 means probability of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Until 4 we have to sum up all the values, which gives us p of 0 is 0 plus 0.1 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.3 from the table, and this is equal to 0.8, and 0.8 is a value greater than half, 0.5. So what is that minimum value of x we found out, which is satisfying the given condition? X probability of x less than or equal to x should be greater than half. It is the minimum value of x is 4. Minimum value of x is 4. So we will conclude, therefore, the minimum value of x, so that probability of x less than or equal to small x is greater than half is 4. So for x is equal to 4, it satisfies. So minimum value is 4. For greater than 4 also, it satisfies the same condition. Means probability, sum of all the probabilities until 5 will be again obviously greater than 1 by 2. 6 also will be greater than 1 by 2. So like that we can obtain in that minimum value which satisfies the condition is 4. So this was a different category what we considered. Of course, few things we were aware of, how to do the distribution table, how to find value k and all. And new things that we learned in this problem is to find out the cumulative distribution function of x. And when a separate condition like this is mentioned, how do we find out the probability and satisfying such condition? We'll see the next problem now. A random variable x, a random variable capital X, takes the values -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, such that probability of x is equal to 0 is equal to probability of x less than 0. This is one of the conditions given to this. And the second condition given is probability of x is equal to -3 is equal to probability of x is equal to -2, which is probability of x is equal to -1. And that in turn is equal to probability of x is equal to 1, which is equal to probability of x is equal to 2. And that is equal to probability of x is equal to 3. So all the probability values are equal except for 0. Correct? -3, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3. Find, this is under condition given, find the probability distribution. Find the probability distribution. So with the given conditions, we should be able to find out the values of the probabilities for each value of the random variable x. So x takes the value -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. For these values of x, let us assume first the probabilities are P1, P2, P3, P4, etc. up to P7. Because there are 7 set of values of x, let us assume the respective probabilities are from P1, P2, P3 to P7. So let's assume it first. Solution. Let the probability distribution, what we have to find out, which can be written in the form x, p of x. Let us assume this be as follows. Let us frame a table now. As mentioned, let us assume the values of probabilities for the respective values of x as P1, P2, P3, etc. The values of x from the table are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. The respective values of P of x are, say, assumption P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, and P7. Now with these values, we will apply the condition of probabilities. That is, two conditions are given for us. Probability of x is equal to 0 is probability of x less than 0. Probability of x is equal to 0 is nothing but P4 according to our assumption. And P4 is equal to probability of x less than 0. So less than 0 means P of -3, -2, -1. So using that, we will be getting an expression in terms of P4 and the remaining. So let us use that first condition. Given probability of x is equal to 0 is equal to probability of x less than 0. So probability of x is equal to 0 is nothing but P4, and that is equal to probability of x less than 0 means x is taking the values -1, -2, and then -3. And they are respectively, x is equal to -1 means we have denoted by P3, P3, P2, and P1. Let's just check that once. X is equal to -1 is P3. For x is equal to -2, we have assumed the probability as P2. For x is equal to -3, we have assumed the probability as P1. So the same thing we have written. So this is one of the equation which is going to help us in future. So let me call this as equation 1. Now also we have another expression from the given data. That is probability of x is equal to 0. Probability of x is equal to -3, -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, all are equal except for x is equal to 0. So except or leaving P4, rest of them can be equated to each other. So that is also another expression from the given data. So also by data, I can directly write down the expression now. So P1 is equal to P2 equal to P3. It's exceptional with P4. So P5, P6, P7 I have to write down. Excepting or leaving P4. Because P4 is for x is equal to 0. And the second condition, we see that for x is equal to 0, the probabilities are not equal. Not equal. Correct? So P4 I have to leave and the rest I have to equate, which is what I did just now. Let me call this as equation 2. Now I can substitute equation 2 in 1, means P3 is in turn equal to P1. P2 is also in turn equal to P1. Everything with respect to one probability value only we can substitute, no? So substituting 2 in 1. Substituting 2 in 1, what do we get? So we have P4 is equal to, P3 can be written as P1, P2 also can be written as P1, and I retain P1 as it is. So this gives me P4 is equal to 3 times of P1. P4 is equal to 3 times of P1. So let me call this as some numbering. P4 is equal to 3 times of P1. I'll just denote this by equation 3 for convenient. Just a small correction here. I'm sorry, this should have been equal to here. So all the probabilities are equal. I said it in words properly, but while writing, I wrote a plus sign. I'm extremely sorry for that. So these are all equal except P4. Correct, no? So we have P4 is equal to 3P1. Now we can also make use of this and substitute over here. P4 is nothing but 3P1. And these two expressions also we can use substituting these in the basic definition of probability function. Okay, we will use the basic definition of the probability distribution. In order to say any probability distribution is satisfied, it is summation P of X is equal to 1, no? So we will use that condition now. We know that summation P of X is equal to 1. Sum of all probabilities should be equal to 1. So sum of all probabilities means it is denoted by P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6 and P7. The sum of all probabilities should be equal to 1. Now we will use equations 2 and 3. We know that each of the probability P2, P3, P5, P6, P7, all these can be represented equal to P1, no? So that we will represent everything in terms of P1. Simultaneously, P4 let us substitute as 3P1. P4 let us substitute as 3P1. Means we are actually now using equations 2 and 3. So let me write down the same thing, substituting equations 2 and 3. First, let me substituting 2 and 3 in the above. So what can we get by substituting equations 2 and 3? P1, we retain that P1 as it is. P2 can be written as P1, they are equal. P3 is also equal to P1. P4 is 3P1, correct? P5 is P1. P6 is P1. P7 is also P1. You can just verify the expression. See, I'm using equations 2 and 3. 3 is nothing but P4 value, which is 3P1. So in place of P4, I have written 3P1. Remaining all probabilities from equation 2, they are all equal to P1 itself. They are all equal to P1 itself. So this leads to 9P1. 9P1 is equal to 1. Or P1 value is equal to 1 by 9. So if P1 is 1 by 9, P2, P3, P4, etc. are all equal to 1 by 9 except P4 again. But so what shall we now find out? We shall now find out P4, which is 3P1. So this is 3 into 1 by 9. So this gives us P4 answer as 1 by 3. If P1 is 1 by 9, P2, P3, P5, P6, P7 are all equal to 1 by 9 except P4. So that is why I found out P4 separately. Now the same values can be put in the form of a table, right? Can be put in the form of a table. So also we can write down, if we for our understanding, P2, P3, P5, P6, P7. These are all equal to P1 itself, and that is in turn equal to 1 by 9. P4 only has a separate value, which is 3P1. So that is why we have performed it and wrote P4 and or obtained P4 is equal to 1 by 3. Now, our aim or our question was to find out the probability distribution. So let us write down the probability distribution table now. Thus, the probability distribution with all the values of P1 to P7, we are putting in the form of a table. That's all. Is as follows. So let's write down the table now. So let us sum up or write it down together in the distribution table. So X and P of X values, we are writing in the table. X values, it was given as -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Respective values P1, P2, P3, we had written no. So we just now obtained all the values. P1, P2, P3, P5, P6, P7 are all equal to 1 by 9 and P4 only is equal to 1 by 3. So P4 is nothing but for X is equal to 0. So it is 1 by 3. The rest all are 1 by 9. And observe that when we sum up all these, the sum is equal to we observe that the two conditions of probability distribution, discrete probability distribution are satisfying. This P of X is positive and sum up of all P of X values, you can add it up and just check, sum is equal to 1. So based on the given condition, the two conditions were mentioned for us in the data no. So based on the two conditions given, we found out the probability distribution table. Would like to discuss one last problem in the discrete probability section. So the problem question is, a random variable X has a random variable X has P of X given by 2 power minus X, where X takes the value 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinite terms. Show that P of X is a probability function. P of X is a probability function. Also find probability of X even, probability of X divisible by 3, X divisible by 3, and probability of X greater than or equal to 5. So probability is defined for us as 2 power minus X, where X takes the value from 1 to infinite. And we need to find out or first show that this P of X is a probability function. In order to say it is probability function, it has to satisfy the basic condition. Every P of X should be positive and sum of all probability of X values should be equal to 1. That's the first part of the problem to show. And second part of the problem is to find these things, probability of X taking even integers, probability of X taking the values divisible by 3, and probability of X greater than or equal to 5. So let us see the solution doing one by one. So it is mentioned P of X is equal to 2 power minus X for X is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. up to infinite terms. And 2 power minus X in turn can be written as 1 divided by 2 power X for convenient. Both these are one and the same. Clearly, P of X is a positive value for every X. So how did we write this directly is, observe when I start values from X is equal to 1. So when x is 1, this is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is 0.5, a positive value. When x is 2, this is 1 divided by 2 square. 2 square is 4, so 1 by 4 is 0.25, again a positive value. So like that, this keeps on repeating. It is, though it is a smaller value, very close to 0 also, we can simply say that it is a positive value. So P of x is greater than 0. Okay. Now we will see the second condition getting satisfied. In order to say it is a probability function, it also has to satisfy summation of P of x values. So let us sum up all the x values and probability values and just check. So summation x is equal to 1 to infinity, because that is the x value that is it is taking. P of x is given by 1 divided by 2 power x. So let us expand this. When x is 1, this is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube, etc. This is in the form of a geometric series, sum up to infinite terms. A plus AR plus AR square, etc. up to infinite terms. So sum up to infinite terms in the geometric series is given by A divided by 1 minus R, where R is a positive value which is equal to 1 by 2. So let us recall about geometric series and sum it up to show that the summation P of x is equal to 1. So I'm just performing that in the next page. So we have the RHS. RHS is a geometric series. RHS is a geometric series of the form A plus AR plus AR square, etc., whose sum up to infinity, up to infinite terms is given by A divided by 1 minus R. And here on comparison, A value is equal to 1 by 2 and R value is equal to 1 by 2. So just observe the previous expression. It is half plus 1 by 2 square, 1 by 2 cube, etc. So you are comparing this with A plus A into R plus A into R square, etc. So A value is equal to the very first term, that is 1 by 2, and R value, because the second term is a product A into R, no? So that's how R value is also equal to 1 by 2. Now this is helping me to sum up the value. So therefore summation P of x is equal to A divided by 1 minus R we are applying. So this is half divided by half, which is equal to 1. So we proved both the conditions getting satisfied. That is, first condition, P of x is positive greater than 0. And the second condition, we saw that sum of all P of x values is equal to 1. Hence, we can conclude that P of x given by 2 power minus x is a probability function. So this was the first part of the problem, if we could observe. Now the second part of the problem is to find probability of x being given, probability of x divisible by 3 and x greater than or equal to 5. So let's do that. Probability of x is equal to even. That is case 1 for us. Probability x being even. So we need to take summation x is equal to even numbers 2, 4, 6, etc. up to infinite, and the function P of x is 1 divided by 2 power x. 1 divided by 2 power x. So this is equal to, we will expand this. When x is equal to 2, we get 1 by 2 square, 1 by 2 power 4, 1 by 2 power 6, etc. Again, this is a geometric series. So again, A value is equal to 1 by 2 square and R value is also 1 by 2 square. So here A is equal to 1 by 2 square. R value is also equal to 1 by 2 square. So that's how I get this. So I have 1 by 4 divided by 1 minus 1 by 4, which is 3 by 4. So the answer in this case is 1 by 3. This was similar to the previous one. No, that's why I did it very directly, not elaborating too much. So the second thing that I have to find out is probability of x divisible by 3. X divisible by 3. So this can be written as summation x is equal to multiples of 3, no? So 3, 6, 9, etc. up to infinite. And the function is 1 divided by 2 power x. 1 divided by 2 power x once again. Again on expansion, this leads to a geometric series. So this gives us 1 divided by 2 cube plus 1 divided by 2 power 6, 1 divided by 2 power 9, etc. So again, which is a geometric series for us. Geometric series. So once again, up to finite terms, sum up to infinite terms of a geometric series is A divided by 1 minus R. A is 1 divided by 2 cube. R is also 1 by 2 cube. So this gives us 1 by 8, the whole divided by 1 minus 1 by 8 is 7 by 8. And on simplification, this is 1 by 7. So here also the value of A was 1 by 2 cube and R value was also 1 by 2 cube. So every time we are comparing with the standard form of the geometric series up to infinite terms, A plus AR plus AR square, etc. And sum up to infinite terms is A divided by 1 minus R. Same formula we are applying in all these cases. Now the last case. Last case is regarding probability of x greater than or equal to 5. Probability of x greater than or equal to 5 can always be written in the form 1 minus probability of x less than 5 also. Right? I'm just showing the alternate way of doing. Of course, greater than or equal to 5 means 5, 6, 7, etc. In that way also direct expression also you can work it out. I'm just showing the alternate way of working it out. By probability definition, we know that if P represents the probability of success and Q is the probability of failure, P plus Q is always equal to 1. So keeping that in mind, success can be written as 1 minus failure. So whenever I want to know x greater than or equal to 5, it can be negated or subtracted from 1 and can be written as 1 minus of probability of x less than 5. Here it was greater than or equal to symbol. That is why in the right hand side when we are negating it, it will be less than 5 only. So this can be easily worked out now. So 1 minus summation I is equal to 1 to 4. Less than 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4 only. X takes the value from 1 to 4 only. P of xi. P of xi. P of xi is nothing but 1 divided by 2 power x. 2 power x. So this is same as saying xi. So this can be expanded now. 1 minus of where x takes the value from 1 to 4. X takes the value from 1 to 4. This can be easily represented in terms of x itself instead of being I. Let me write it down as x itself. So this is x is equal to 1 now. So 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube plus 1 divided by 2 power 4. All these values we can just use a calculator and sum it up and obtain the answer. This leads to the answer 1 by 16. 1 by 16. So I'll just show you the previous step. The question was to find out probability of x even, x divisible by 3 and x greater than or equal to 5. So of course for x greater than or equal to 5, you can work out in the same manner as we did the previous case. Okay, the choice is up to you. it will again come to the geometric series form and you can apply the formula to obtain the same answer. So these were the simple problems and very important problems from the examination point of view, which are from the topic discrete probability distributions. Hope these problems were helpful for all of you. Thank you for watching.